What's up guys, this is TechnoCube and you are watching ASP.NET Tutorials. Well, if you are new to my channel, I insist you to subscribe my channel. Thank you so much for that. Well, in the previous session, we had seen the difference between ASP and ASP.NET, a small introduction to ASP.NET. We also had seen how to create a project inside Visual Studio, and we had seen the two projects. One is empty project and one with ASP.NET template. Okay. Well, in this session, we will understand working with controls. And what do you mean by control? It means this toolbox, okay, and the controls inside that. So it can be text boxes, checkbox, drop down, file upload, image button, label, link button, and many more. Okay, so in the previous session also I had told you about that the ASP.NET controls are designed or it is a resemble of standard window form control. I hope you had gone through the console application and Windows application where we had great deal on this toolbox. We had seen almost not every, but we had seen many of the controls, and from there you can understand how to work with toolbox. So if you haven't seen that, I recommend you to please go through those playlists so that you can understand the basics of the C# or the basics of the Visual Studio, how to operate it. Okay, so the design is going to be the same as Windows application. The toolbox is also going to be the same. Some controls are going to be changed, such as we call combo box there in Windows application. It is changed here as drop down list. So this could be the thing. I hope you can easily get through this. Okay, so now what type of control we are going to deal it here. So you see here, if I go to the google.com, and you see this is what kind of things we are having. So this is the text box. You can see this is text box. This is going to be a kind of simple button. This is also going to be button. This is also going to be an image button here. And if I go to view page source, you will see the oh, I'm so sorry. If I go here and make inspect element, you will see these types of control here. Let me close this and make this here. See, this is an input class. An input class is having, it is a combination of different controls. So it could be a text box, also it could be a combo box. You can see, because it gives you a kind of search here. See, this is a kind of combo box, right? It is a kind of drop down. So based on your writing, based on your typing, it gives you a thing. So it could be a multi control. So it is a text box and also a combo box. Okay, so these types of control we're gonna see in our this ASP.NET tutorials. Now here, there is this toolbox, and this toolbox is separated with the help of tabs. Okay, so there are so many tabs here. See, if I just close this, all these things here. So all these things are basically tabs. There is standard tab, data tab, validation tab, navigation, login, web part, Ajax extensions, dynamic, reporting, HTML, and general tab. All these are tabs, and these tabs are used for different things. So if I say controls for validation, I need a validation, there is a validation tab. So if I open it, you will see these are the controls that you can use for validation purpose. So we have compare, validator, custom, range, regular expressions, and many more. We will also see how to use this validation in our tutorials, but not at this point of time. Then we have a data tab where we see different types of controls that has to be connected with database or any data providers. Okay, you already had seen grid view, which is also there in the Windows application, just a different nomenclature. We call them data grid there, but here in ASP.NET we call them grid view. Okay, then we have a login, which is used for different types of things like login name, login, change password, password recovery, and something like that. We also have reporting tools which can be used for basic analysis, like if you want an analysis on a college, or you can say school result or a college result, so you can have some reporting tools with us. We have crystal report, we can use that so that we can show the basic analysis of any college or school results or anything like that. Then also we have standard controls, where standard, like standard control, it means like general controls. It could be a button, it could be a text box like hyperlink. We have labels and many more things like that. Okay, so these are the tabs, and based on the tabs we drag and drop our control inside the design page, or you can write your code in the source panel. Okay, now there are basically the controls are basically of two types. One is we call them control class, and the other one is the web control. Okay, so the control class is basically, if you see here, if I go to my default .aspx.cs file, which is this default.aspx, and if I go to .cs file, this is the backend code behind file. So if you see here, if you already know that using system is basically the root or the parent namespace of all. And then if you remove these two things which are necessary, but right now just ignore the case we have this namespaces. But if we go here and check this out, this is using system.web.ui.control. Okay, now this is basically coming from the control class here. So we have two types of controls. We have control, like the control class, and we also have web control class. So if I say here, we have control class and we have web control class. Now the thing is, the control class, which is having a namespace of using system.web.ui.control. So this is the namespace which it possesses, and the web control class, it says using web.ui.webcontrols. This is the namespace of that. Now the control class is basically the base class of all web control class. Keep that in mind. Your control class is the base class, or if I more precisely say, this is the parent class which possesses all the controls, whereas web control class is the derived class, or if I say it is a child class of the control class. So that's why we have using system.web.ui, but then it is coming from control class. Okay, so this is the parent class and this is the web control class. The system.web.ui.control class is the base class of all the web server control class. So this class is derived from this basic class, this control class. It is derived from object class. Okay, so that's why if I go here using system.aspx.cs, this web.ui, it is coming specifically from system.object. Okay, this is all coming from system.object, which is resides under the system namespace. So this is derived from object class, and this object class resides in the system namespace. So if we, in short, if we say this using system.web.ui is coming from using system.object. Okay, I don't know, I can write it over here or not, but let me just put it over here. Yeah, so I don't have any object here, so yeah. So this web.ui is coming from using system.object, and system.object is coming from using system. Okay, so this is the root namespace. Okay, now this is basically the derived class, this web control class, and it's straightforward coming from control class. Now if you want to see the properties, all methods and the events of this control class, you can go for this website, the docs of the microsoft.com, and you can directly search for public properties or the methods or the constructor or the events of control class. You can simply search for it and you will find each and everything of this control class, whatever it possesses. Okay, so you can see here it is the inheritance which is coming from object, and object is coming from system. So system is the root namespace, as I told you. So this control class is coming from object, and object is coming from namespace, sorry, system namespace. Okay, I hope this is somehow clear to you. So these are the constructor, which is the control itself. Then we have properties. All are these properties you can use. These are some of the methods. These and then you can also find some of the events here: data binding, dispose, init, load, pre-render, unload, and something like that. And then also we have different implementation and extensions method. So please visit this website. You will find each and everything about control class. Now, working on web control class, we have you can also search web control class here in this docs.microsoft.com. However, web control class is the class which possess this all toolbox. It means the standard, the data, validation, navigation, login, these all are tabs. It come under the web control class. Okay, so I can write here what are the some of the basic standard control of basic standard control of web control. Okay, so it could be the first one, as I can say, the label control. Oh, come on. Then we have text box control. Then also we have file upload. Oh, then we have you can say the button control. Okay, so these are some of the basic standard control which is there with the web control class. You can also see different properties and the methods and events of your web control class. The simple one, the methods of web control class compose of let me write it down here, or you can directly search it on the internet. You can find it easily. So we also have apply style, which is a kind of method which is there in the web control class. We also have merge style. We will see all these things in our later sessions. Then we have render tag, end tag, begin tag. I understand that it is not right now hitting your mind, but these are the methods of web control class, and many more are there. You can also use the properties which is there with the web control class, the property name as tooltip. We have other one as width. We also have another one as like enabled. Then we have height and all. These are the simple one. I think these are not like heavy to remember. I think this is easy to remember. So these are some of the methods and events or properties of web control class. So this session it's cumulatively just for give you the difference between a control class and a web control class. So the control class, which is it is inherited from the object namespace, and it comes as a control class, which is a kind of base class, of all the class of web control. So these all are the web controls, and so I'll give you the hierarchy. Just there we go. So I have here system namespace, and then I have object namespace, then I have here I have a control class, and then you see I have a web control class. Okay, so this is easy to understand now. So the first thing is I have a system, then it comes to the object, and then it comes to the control class, and then it comes to the web control class. So on a very lower level, we have all the controls here. So it could be a text box, label, file upload, button, and all those things resides in this toolbox. So this is our toolbox. And this toolbox having all these controls, and these controls are there with the web control class. Ultimately it is coming from control class, which is a parent or the base class of this web control class, and that is coming from object class, and the object is coming from the system. Okay, so these all are merged with each other. They are dependent on each other. So system is dependent on object is control class, and control class is a base class which is deriving the web control class, and web control class is having the toolbox, and toolbox is having all the controls. I hope you are getting it. Thank you so much for listening me.